Everyone who knows Pat Bonavita-Cola knows what a talented and generous man he is. For the last 8 years, he has been teaching method acting and directing plays at both the Lee Strasberg Institute and the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Los Angeles. Those of us who have studied with Pat on the East Coast know what a gem of a teacher he is. And frankly, we've been at somewhat of a loss since his departure to California 8 years ago. Actors in LA are lucky to have Pat in their corner. He's a dedicated coach. And he teaches them to dig deep into the study of the character. And that's what wins roles.
Pat was enjoying a full life of teaching and coaching, of writing dramas and producing them in L.A. when illness struck. He came down with COVID, which developed into long COVID, which you have probably heard of or maybe even known someone affected by it. For those who aren't aware, long COVID is a persistent and over time extremely debilitating condition. It can rob a person of energy, appetite, and sometimes hope. After 7 months of no let-up, Pat says he's become a physical wreck and short on hope.
Los Angeles is a ridiculously expensive city to live in. And because Pat hasn't had the stamina to continue his intensive 4-hour classes, he's had to step back from his creative work, and with that, his livelihood. Bills have been piling up. Couple that anxiety with being knocked flat for 7 months by a disabling disease, you're going to find yourself in financial straits too. His doctors say there's nothing they can do for him beyond what they've already tried and failed. They tell him of cases where the illness has abated over time and how some people get better. But that's hardly a guarantee. By itself, an ambiguous prognosis can wear down the strongest person. And after all these months of exhaustion, brain fog, weight loss, and the absence of work he loves, and financial troubles on top of all that, Pat's in a deep rut. No work, no money coming in, the huge cost of living in L.A., he just got stuck. From time to time, everybody gets stuck.
And that's where the Five Wise Guys came in. Well, we used to be Five Wise Guys, but we lost Bob last year, so we're 4 now. Anyway, Pat's told us recently that he's begun to believe that just getting back to the Berkshires might help to restore him. So we started this GoFundMe campaign to ask friends and people who know him to pitch in generously. Friends have been great and helped him get an apartment, but in order to secure that, he needs 3 months rent up front. He needs a mover to bring his furniture across country. He needs a driver to get his car back east. And he needs airfare to get himself here. Plus all those getting started again expenses that can run so high. Our goal is to raise $15,000 to cover much of those costs, and we're hoping for more.
Speaking of that, some of you may remember the GoFundMe campaign to save the bookstore here during the pandemic. We were shooting to raise $60,000, but in the end we raised more than that. We doubled it. So please, give as much as you can to help our dear friend get unstuck, and that when spring comes in May, it'll bring Pat home along with it. Thank you very much.
Pat wants desperately to get back to the Berkshires and be close to dear friends again, and with luck regain his health and start teaching again. We believe that can happen, and so we thank you for chipping in whatever you can to make it so.
Thank you for your donations. Dig deep, brothers and sisters. Dig deep.
And if you don't contribute, something terrible could happen to your cat.